I'm Ben Nielsen. I own Lassen Traditional Cider. I make high quality cider in Chico, California, made from heirloom apples that's barrel aged and just has really unique flavors that people are not accustomed to when they think about cider. So the focus is on using heirloom apples that have more complexity and flavor to them than your average supermarket dessert variety. The apples that you buy in the supermarket are produced in Washington State, and it's mass production growing methods, so they tend to be harvested underripe, and they sit in cold storage for up to a year, so they never develop full flavor, full sugar. I'm getting apples that are picked fully ripe off the tree, so their full flavor and sugars have been allowed to develop. And the varieties I'm using are heirloom varieties, so they have more flavor and complexity to them. Wine Sap and Newtown Pippin, King David, Jonathan, Arkansas Black. And they're hard to find, but I like to seek out these amazing apples that make amazing cider. I want people to understand how my methods of producing cider are different than your average mass-produced cider. How my cider is more similar to how wine is being made versus just a manufactured beverage made from a bunch of corn sugar and fruit flavorings. So I want to put cider where it's at an equal level to wine. I press all my own apples here at my facility. They ferment in neutral red wine barrels for about 3 months. And then I rack them out of the barrel and blend it and bottle it, and then it's bottle conditioned for another 2 months. So it's about a 5 to 6 month process from when I get apples in until when it's ready to drink. It's a very natural product, so it's unsulfited, unfiltered, unpasteurized, basically farmhouse style cider. So it's rustic, natural style, similar to how cider was made 100 years ago. All 4 of my ciders are fermented fully dry, so that means all the sugar that's in the fruit, it's all fructose, is fully fermented out. So my ciders have 0 residual sugar in them, which a lot of people tend to like. All the time I hear people say like, oh, I don't drink cider because it's too sweet, and the only ciders they've had are like the really cheap mass-produced ones. Every apple is definitely not the same. Like sometimes I get people like, oh, there's red apples and green apples, right? But the reality is, I mean, there's like thousands of known cultivars. I've had apples that just taste like wildly different. For me, personally, it's really hard to go back to eating some of these common supermarket varieties just because they're so bland. The flavor is just like that unique. I mean, it's amazing that different apples can have such drastically different flavors. I think a lot of people don't realize that, you know, like people are missing out on this world of apples out there. So I really hope to play a role in this like increasing of apple diversity that we have available. Every time I have it, it's gonna be a new experience that never gets old. Variety is the spice of life.